Welcome back to the Ryoko Show, the podcast that inspires and empowers you to create the life you truly love. I'm Ryoko. Today, I want to share what's going on with me lately, this overwhelm and anxiety that I had been feeling, and tools that I use to overcome my old stories so that you can also learn how to shift your mindset, how to come back to the present moment and go beyond your old stories. So what's up with me lately is that I finally decided to move to Toronto from Montreal, where I had been living for almost 12 years. And actually, Montreal is the only place that I have lived for such a long time. I have been moving around. After high school, I went to Seattle. I went to university. I spent 5 years in the States. Then I went back to Japan. And after living in Japan for a while, I moved to Mexico. And then from Mexico, I came to Canada. So I have been living in different places in the world, but actually Montreal was the second place that I can call my home, that I spent so many years in my life. So the reason why I decided to move to Toronto is because, as you know, I left my 9-to-5 job and I became a certified trainer of the Jack Canfield Success Principles, and now I am being certified as a transformational coach, and I want to pursue new career as a trainer and coach. So I thought that maybe I want to be in the environment where I can connect with more Asian communities and living in this bigger place than in Montreal, because I've always wanted to live in Toronto, but because I have this condo that I bought in 2016, I was telling myself that it's okay that I don't go to Toronto because I have my home and I just didn't want to take that risk. And to be honest, I just didn't want to deal with the moving again. So I was staying in the job, doing what I could every day to have more fulfillment. But I realized that you spend so much time at work. So if I don't do the thing that I really want in life, then most of my life would be not thriving. I will be just existing, earning money to pay my mortgage, which was good for a few years until COVID hit. Because as many people, I'm sure you are also one of them, that we are given this time to face with our life and ask ourselves, what is that we really want in life? Like, is the life that we are living is something that we truly desire, or we are just playing small, or we stop dreaming, we stop taking risks? So for me, although the COVID time was very anxious at the beginning, and I was really on survival mode, and I was crying, I was blaming the situation. I was really living like a victim. But after, so 2020, 21, 23, so after living like that for 3 years, I just lost hope. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, so I hit the rock bottom. Then I decided that there is something about me that I really need to work on, because I know that there are other people in the same situation, like pandemic. I know that there are some people who thrived and then who found another passion, who found another career, they moved on. But I couldn't do that. I was just finding excuses and finding the reason why it's not possible for me. So once I shifted my mindset from that victim mindset to growth mindset. After learning from Jack Canfield, I became certified trainer. So I learned a lot about personal transformation, tools to overcome your old story. Then slowly this true desire more and more started to show up and telling me that maybe I should just let go of the very thing that I was so attached to, which was my condo in Montreal. Because for me, it was so important to have my own place, because my mom all the time told me that if you don't have your home, then your life will be unstable, because she believes that being owning your own place, home ownership to her was very important. So obviously, because as you grow up, you learn so many things from your parents, adults around you, so you take on their beliefs and make them your beliefs. So I honestly believe that having my own home will give me the security that I desperately wanted in life. But at the same time, this condo was also giving me another huge responsibility, because I need to be able to pay mortgage, not to lose my home. So I was feeling a lot of pressure, because if I want to do something different, then I need to make sure that I earned enough money to pay my mortgage. Or if I want to move to another place, then I need to sell my condo. I was very afraid of letting go of what I bought with hard work. So I just couldn't let go of what I had. But then I realized that this very thing that I was so attached to was kind of blocking me from living my life the way I wanted. So 2023, I wanted to change my life, and I changed my career. But then 2024, I decided that this year I am going to choose the environment that will support what I want to do with my life. And I decided that because I had this dream of living in Toronto again, and I attempted 3 times while I am living in Montreal, but every time I came up with excuses and I never pursued that dream. So this time I took a bold action. I decided to let go of this condo, so I sold my place. And then I am now packing and getting ready to move to Toronto. But then another old story from my past showed up and really causing anxiety in me. So I was observing myself, like, why do I feel this anxious about moving? Why is it that I feel so lazy to pack, or why this moving seems so overwhelming when it's very simple? You just need to pack, call the moving company, get estimate, and that's it. It's like logical mind doesn't help me, because I have this anxiety coming from my subconscious mind, from my past story. So my past story is that when I was living in Japan, I had this huge argument with my mom because I wanted to move to Canada. I wanted to immigrate to Canada. I wanted to go for what I really wanted in my life. But she had different ideas. She had different opinion about my life. So we didn't agree with we didn't agree on anything. Like, she wouldn't support me. So I got really angry and I got so upset. So I decided to leave home, because that time she told me that if I want to rebuild my life, I could come home and then save money. So I did that. But because I decided the path that she didn't approve, she got so upset, and then I felt so angry, so I left home. But without thinking clearly, I just left home. and I didn't have an apartment to move into, because in Japan you need a co-signer to rent an apartment. And of course, because she was so angry at me, she of course she wouldn't be a co-signer. So I was not homeless, but I really didn't know how to find the apartment without that co-signer. And also I just didn't want to pay extra money to find a co-signer. So in that moment, I was telling myself, if only I had my own place, my life would be safe. So I spent maybe like 3 weeks staying at my best friend's home. She offered me her home. So meantime, I was looking for an apartment, and luckily I found somebody who could sublet this old house downtown Sapporo. So I could move into that house, and at the end, everything worked out. It's just that every time I think about moving, that image comes to my mind. And then even though in reality, I do have a place to move into Toronto, which is actually like this beautiful condo that I visualized and I manifested, but my old story is still telling me that I am not safe. So I had a big cry, because I learned that whatever the experience that you had in the past, and you didn't complete that emotional cycle, unresolved emotions still live in your body, and the fastest way is to feel that feeling again, and then let just emotion complete its cycle. So, but because I was so afraid of feeling anxious again, I was avoiding and I didn't deal with that emotion. And then I remember that fastest way for you to overcome your old story is to, of course, do affirmation, rewrite, all those things are important, but the fastest way is to feel that anxiety again. Very uncomfortable and very scary, but just stay with that emotion and then feel that intensity and let it go, which I did. So yesterday I cried, and then I was remembering how I felt like I don't have any place to go. And then I was feeling so anxious that what if I don't find a place to live, then I'm gonna be homeless. I was telling all those scary stories to myself. So I tuned into that my past self again, and this time I stayed in the present moment. I let those uncomfortable feelings overwhelm my whole body, and then I cried. So after I cried, and then I got so exhausted, then I took a bath, because I also heard that water is cleansing. So anytime you have this strong emotion showed up, then take a cleansing bath, and I relaxed. Then I did that rewriting the story, because I already released my strong emotions. I cried, and then I took a bath. Then I journal. I said I journal like, why do I still feel fear about moving? And I wrote everything that showed up. I said, not having your own home. So not being a homeowner means you are going to be again homeless, which is not true, but that showed up. So I wrote it down. And losing what you have built is very scary, because you have no idea when you can be a homeowner. And moving is overwhelming, and moving is very hard, and moving is so tiring. So whatever the emotions or thoughts that showed up, I wrote them, and then I put on a detective hat, and then I observe all the sentences that I wrote, and I ask myself, is it really true that if you are not homeowner, you are going to be homeless? Then, because I already released all the strong emotions, I was calmer, so I could really answer the questions. I said, of course no. And you have a place to move into in Toronto, so why are you going to be homeless? So I could see myself that all the sentences that I wrote were really not true and didn't make any sense. But because I allowed that space to be there and wrote all those sentences, I took those thoughts seriously and acknowledged them, that anxiety didn't come back. then I could rewrite the new story saying that what's the benefit of living in Toronto? So maybe living in Toronto would allow me to connect with Asian communities because there are more Japanese people, Asian people living in Toronto. Living in Toronto also allow me to meet new people, go to networking, and also the condo that I manifested is by the Ontario Lake. I love beach and I love to be close to the water. So living in that new place, looking over the Lake Ontario from the balcony, that is like dream come true. And also in that building, I have a balcony which I don't have right now, and they have a gym. They even have a yoga studio. So I wrote all the good things about that new home. Although I'm not the owner of that unit, I got really excited and I could finally make peace with this idea of moving. So I felt a little bit better, and then I thought maybe I should just share this story. Normally I script podcasts because I want to take you through from one principle so that from the beginning of my podcast to the end, within 10 minutes, I can give you some tip and awareness and concrete idea, because I am not very used to talking like this in front of camera yet, so I might be off track. So to avoid that, I normally outline and script and I practice. But today I decided I'm just gonna show up, share whatever comes up, so that my story will have more power and will be more impactful, hopefully, for you. So the conclusion that I came to with this moving is that I don't need to be a homeowner to have certainty in my life. And also letting go of the good to have great is always scary. But once I move toward the greater life that I want to experience, that will allow me to see more new possibilities. And I know that change is always scary, but I also know from my experience during the pandemic that if I don't take a risk, I will never grow myself. And if I don't take a risk, I will not experience a lot of things in my life, and I won't be living an authentic life, because I want to experience more things in life. I want to connect with new people. And what I learned from Jack is that you need to be in the environment where you have support. So if your environment doesn't support you, then you need to create the environment that supports you. Maybe that can be job opportunities or communities or relationships. So for me, because I want to be close to my community, like I want to be close to Japanese community. So I thought that maybe if Toronto can offer what I want to have, then it's good to let go of my condo that gave me the security for many years. And I really, really love my place, and I got so lucky to be able to own this place, and I love my neighborhood. But I just decided that it's time to leave what's good and go after what I really, really want, which is to have different experiences and build my coaching business in a place where I can connect with my community. I want to connect with Japanese people. I want to connect with Asian people, different people from different countries. And although Montreal can offer that, but I feel like staying in the same place also doesn't expand me, because I know that deep down I like to be in a bigger city, because I come from a bigger place than Montreal, and I have experience of living in Mexico City with 23 million. So I miss that vibe. I miss that energy that's coming from bigger city. So I enjoyed this small very friendly place in Montreal. Montreal gave me a lot of good memories, gave me this beautiful home, a job that I had, job that allowed me to have this home. So I'm very, very grateful for what I had here. But now it's really time to move on. And I hope that if you are also facing some challenges or your old story is still coming back to you, then try this. Connect to that moment where you felt that fear or anxiety, and then let those fears show up and then acknowledge them. Feel those emotions, and if you need to cry, do it, because it's really, really helpful to acknowledge whatever coming through our body, release them, then you do that rewriting the story part. Because I feel like we can all think, we can all focus on what's good, like logically, but it's so true that whatever we feel deep down, like subconscious level, is running the show. So if we don't pay attention to what's underneath that surface, it's like subconscious mind is that what's beneath the ocean that you don't see. But if we don't go into that space and see what's really, really causing this anxiety and acknowledge and release, then it's very difficult to rely on willpower to create the life you want, because that's only 3-5% of the mind. Our behaviors, our thoughts, all those things are run by our subconscious mind. So whenever this anxiety, fear shows up, they have a message. So if you listen to those messages, feel the feeling, release them, then rewrite to more empowering story, then I feel like we can all move forward, go beyond our limiting stories, because our limiting stories do not decide what's possible for us. So I hope this story will give you some courage and can be motivation for you to also think about what you really want in your life. And it's okay to feel the fear. Feeling the fear, you can also take one tiny step toward what you really want. So thank you so much for listening to my story. And I also appreciate that you take your time to come to my show and be the listener, be the great listener that I have. Without you, my show, I create this show to share my story with you. So I know that you are there. Knowing that you are there gives me the motivation to continue with my episode. And even like today, I was like, oh, I don't have this mindset to go to the show and say like, oh, hi, I am here to teach you about success principles. Or I didn't have that like high energy, but I just came as authentic as possible to show that sometimes, oh, I am human too. I am still evolving. So I just wanted to show my vulnerability, connect with you more authentically. So thank you. And I am coming back to you next Thursday, and I will update you what's going on with my move. Not trying to, because trying, I know that trying feels this like not empowering energy. So I am moving to Toronto by mid-April. So I am aiming for April 16th. I am getting all the stuff ready. So I will continue to move toward what I really want and come back with more insights, more empowering stories, so that I can be supportive of you. So until next time, keep shining. I believe in you, and I'll see you soon.